Right, but should and do are sort of sometimes different. On the issue of the United States and Donald Trump.
No, it is nonsensical. It is nonsensical because the European Union in this current state is not democratic, first of all.
As the first ever Chancellor candidate for the AfD, what can Germany, what would the world expect from a Chancellor Weidel? What would be your top priorities?
Well, actually, I would like to correct something. I don't want to be impolite, but you just labeled our party as right-wing, which is not correct in my perspective. We are a libertarian conservative party in Germany. So we perceive ourselves standing in the middle and actually wanting to introduce sane and serious policies. Because we see that this country is in need of real reforms. Let's have a look at Germany right now, where it stands. After 20 years, after 16 years of Angela Merkel, and after 3 years of the traffic light coalition, actually funny name, right, isn't it? Germany is not in a very good state. We have the highest energy prices worldwide. We are in the middle of a migration crisis. We got a million influx of immigrants, illegals, we don't know. Germany actually literally has no borders, no border control, nothing. So we have criminal rates skyrocketing, and taxes are too high. So a middle-class taxpayers earning, let's say, 50,000 euros a year has to pay over half. So I think there is a lot of room of real policy making, lowering taxes, and then having also a serious energy policy. Germany is the only country having switched off nuclear power plants. So this country government has imposed a obnoxious policy making, having an industrial country like Germany just being supported. Sorry, it's very important to have a status quo here. To have an industrial country like Germany, just like being dependent on solar and wind power. And this is not serious, right?
So translate that into me for sort of top 3 policy initiatives that you would put in if you were Chancellor of Germany.
Mm-hmm. Border control, lowering taxes, and switching on the nuclear power plants.
And one of the other sort of things that I think sort of concerns many people within our audience, particularly the investor, business, and economist community, is this idea of withdrawing from the euro, of withdrawing from the EU, which would be seen by many in the mainstream, yes, as economically catastrophic for Germany. Many of the right-wing parties that have been successful in Germany have abandoned this initiative. You have not. Why?
We don't see that the European Union in its current state is an institution that is working well, right? So what we need to have is free trade among the European countries, but we don't need all the bureaucracy. So example, the European Commission, which is actually not voted, right? So you have a executive power like the Commission with also legislative power that is not elected. So this is a huge democratic deficit. So this Commission decided just to forbid diesel and benzene, like all the traditional fossil motor, right? So what happens is that they actually ripped off the German automotive sector, and this is also, in my perspective, something. It's something like a socialist policy making, that you destroy the market mechanism within Europe. And that's the reason why we say, look, we don't need a commission that is actually destroying the foundation of our continent. What we need is free trade among the European countries.
Many people are critical of the EU on many of the points that you make here, but very few are making the case for withdrawal from the EU. And specifically on the euro, how do you envision that happening? Was it a return in Germany to the Deutschmark? Is it then, explain to us the mechanics of how you imagine that working if you had your way.
Well, this is the entire discussion around the Dexit, right?
Yeah.
So we think that the European treaties need to be reformed so that every country within the European Union has a right, first of all, to have a veto against the Commission. For instance, that the German government could say, okay, we don't agree, we say no. Mm-hmm. So the veto power in the European treaties. And if a country wants to leave the European Union, why not falling automatically into a free trade zone? I highly recommend just a free trade zone, because all the bureaucrats, thousands of them, like eating up taxpayers' money, they just disturb real competition among the European countries. We don't need all of these bureaucrats that have actually who have no clue what they're doing and destroying our foundation in the European Union. Look at the German car market, for instance.
But of course, this was also the Brexit dream, and that is a dream that I think by most accounts has not really materialized for the United Kingdom, and in fact now trying to restrike trade deals with Europe.
The reasons for that? The reason is very simple. Actually, they used the Brexit, the European Union used the Brexit to actually exclude Great Britain from the European market. That was actually almost
part of the arrangement.
No, but you cannot do that. You cannot do that. This is not competition. This is no market competition. What we need to have is a free zone, and someone who decides, actually, I have something against, like Cameron did. Yeah. He said, look, I don't agree with open border policies. I don't agree with your policies at all. So please reform yourself. And if they don't move, it is his right as a sovereign state just to step back and say, look, we step out. But then a country should automatically fall in a free trade zone.
Right, but should and do are sort of sometimes different. On the issue of the United States and Donald Trump.
No, it is nonsensical. It is nonsensical because the European Union in this current state is not democratic, first of all. And secondly, you have no real competition.